Hi, my name is Liz Hauk. I'm one of the owners of Expand Yoga along with Matthew Ottenbach. We're in Tacoma, Washington, and I'm going to be leading you through a short Vinyasa flow today. It's great to be here with you. Let's get started in child's pose. You can bring your hips towards your heels and your forehead towards the mat. You can have your arms long outstretched or back by your sides and your knees together or spread as wide as you like. And as you start to draw yourself into your child's pose, see if you can start to allow your body to feel for your breath. And so notice the way that your inhales travel in and the way your exhales travel out. And see if you can allow your breath to be the thing that's at the foundation of your practice from here on out. So, from your child's pose, begin to inhale your shoulders over your wrists and your hips over your knees. And as you draw yourself into your tabletop position, plug your palms down into the mat, plug your knees and even the tops of your feet. Let them really press down into the ground. Right, then as you exhale, press the floor away, round your spine towards the ceiling. And as you inhale, let your heart rise, your hips rise, lengthen your spine, look up. Exhaling, curling back in, right? Letting your breath press out. And then inhale, dragging your breath in, seeing how long you can get. Give yourself a few cat-cow tilts, truly letting your breath lead you through. And once you've gone through a few times, right, notice if there's anything else you'd like to do. So you're welcome to roll your hips round. You can go clockwise, you can counterclockwise. You can go into a C curve, look over your right shoulder so you can see your right pinky toe. Over your left shoulder, maybe see your left pinky toe getting a little length to your sides. And then once you've found a little bit of space, a little bit of room to breathe and move in your body, walk each hand just a little further out in front than it would normally go. Curl your toes under, lift your sitting bones way up and back, come into a downward facing dog. Then from your downward facing dog, begin to bend your right knee, reach your left heel down. Bend your left knee, reach your right heel down. Turn your hips way to the right, let your gaze go out underneath your left arm. Right, and then vice versa, right, just switching sides, getting some extra space. And once you've found a little bit of length in your side body, bend your elbows, roll your shoulders down away from your ears, like your elbows are going to point towards your toes, and then press the floor away. You inhale your sitting bones high, soften your knees, gaze forward, and then just very softly, almost like you're walking on a tightrope, bring one foot in front of the other. Keep pressing the floor away as you go, like pressing down through the ground. And when you do come all the way up in between your hands, separate your feet 2 fist distances apart. Measure with your pinkies just hugged by the inner arches of your feet. And take your hands to each elbow and let the weight of your head drop. And you can let your hand truly cup your elbow. You might need to just reset it until you really feel the bony point of your elbow right in the palm of your hand. And then let your hips do the work, so you're not on your back. You can bend your knees enough that your torso truly lays on your legs. And give yourself an inhale into your back. And as you exhale, let the weight of your head and shoulders hang. You can sway, you can bounce. You can even take a twist and look out underneath your right arm and look out way underneath your left. Right? So getting a little bit of length to your sides. And then release your elbows, stick your hands around behind your back and release your fingers, bring your palms to press. Inhale your knuckles up and over the top. Good, inhale your knuckles away from your back. Exhale, let them fall heavy again. Inhale, let your knuckles lift away. And as you exhale, bend your right knee, gaze underneath your left arm. Good, then try switching sides, bending your left knee, look underneath your right. It's a little bit of a twist. Then draw yourself back to center, hands back to your low back. Allow them to slide down the sides of your legs. Inhale and roll into your half lift. Firm your belly, really lengthen out to your back, almost like you want to be able to hold a little bit of water right at the base of your spine. And as you exhale, folding back in. So 2 more times, inhaling and rolling. Exhaling, folding. Last one, inhale and roll, long back, the crown of your head lengthens out, hips reach back. Exhaling, folding all the way back in. Inhale, sweep your arms sideways and up. Good, reach up towards the ceiling, root down through your feet. And then as you inhale, think of lifting up out of your waistline, reach up and back. And as you exhale, fold up and over the top, bend your knees as much as you like. Inhale and roll into your half lift. Exhale, fold back in, bring your feet together so your big toes touch. And look for your center line from the arch of your feet all the way up to your center. Inhale, sweep your arms sideways and up, bring your palms to press this time. Right, see if you can let your ribs wrap in. Inhale, lift up out of your waistline. And as you exhale, fold right over the top. Inhale into your half lift, long spine. Exhale, both hands down, step your feet back in an upward push-up plank and pause for a moment. Right, stabilize through your shoulders. You might bring your knees down or you might not. Might be want to be buoyant in your back, collarbones broad, the hands plugged into the ground, and then really using your legs, using your core. Think of your tailbone wrapping towards your belly button. Take an inhale, exhale, lower just about halfway down, and press straight back up. Again, inhale, fill up, exhale, halfway down, try to use your legs, and press back up. And again, inhale. As you exhale, lower all the way down to the ground, so everything touches right around the same time. Then let your toes lay long behind you. Inhale, roll your shoulders around on the back. Think of pulling the mat back, so you're lengthening your spine forward, and roll back down. Check in with your low back. If it feels good to go a little higher, try keeping the bony points of your pelvis against the ground. Inhale, roll your shoulders around on the back. Again, try to lengthen your spine so your legs reach back, your pelvis acts like an anchor. And again, as you inhale, you can imagine the wind at your back, lifting your heart. Exhale, folding all the way back in and down. If you still feel good in your back, you can curl your toes. Inhale, roll over the tops of your feet. Good, long spine, use your legs to lift you up out of your low back. And then curl your toes back under, hips high. Heels low, back to downward facing dog. So your heels definitely, they do not need to touch the ground. You can always bend your knees more by lifting your sitting bones high. Take an inhale, lifting tall through your spine. As you exhale, soften your knees, gaze forward. Step, hop if you want to. You can float your feet right up in between your hands. You can bring your feet together, inhale and roll into your half lift. Exhale, fold back in. Inhale, sweep your arms sideways and up, reaching up out of your waist, gazing up. Exhale, folding up and over the top, all the way down. Inhale and roll into your half lift. Exhale, both hands down. You can step, hop, or float your way back. Right, take yourself through your full flow, exhaling as you lower. Inhaling as you rise. And following your breath truly back to your downward facing dog. Now, we tend to do that a lot in Vinyasa. You can always skip it. Right? You can always modify it by bringing your knees down. Now you can change the back bending part into a little gentler back bend. You can always just come back to downward facing dog. Okay, from this downward facing dog, inhale your right leg up and back. Right? Let your right foot lift up and across and over, almost like it's going to lean behind you. When it can't go any further, then bend your knee. Now left knee still stays facing your nose, so you're not twisting the bottom leg, right? It stays straight forward. Inhale like your right knee wants to reach towards the ceiling. Right, then straighten it back out long and step your right foot all the way through between your hands. Spin your left heel all the way down to meet the mat. Find your right knee in your armpit. Inhale, rise all the way up into warrior one. Good, find the ground beneath your back foot. Inhale, reach up out of your spine. Exhale, both hands all the way down, step your right foot back. Exhale as you lower. Inhale to rise. Back to downward facing dog. Inhale your left leg up and back. Take the left foot over and across. Then bend your knee. Inhale all the way up your left side seam. Straighten your left leg back out long. Step your left foot all the way through. Get knee to armpit. Spiral the right heel down. Inhale, rise all the way up, warrior one. Good, give yourself an inhale. Exhale, both hands all the way down, left foot steps back. Again, exhaling as you lower. Inhale as you rise. Back to downward facing dog. Inhale your right leg up and back. Exhale, right foot all the way through. Again, rise all the way into your warrior one. This time, exhale to open out into your warrior two. As you inhale, imagine getting a little bit broader, a little bigger. Give yourself some room between your shoulders, strong through your legs. Inhale, your right palm to face the ceiling, reach forward. Extend up and back into your reverse warrior. Left hand can be anywhere, but really leaning on the outer left knee. Inhale, exaggerate the length of your right side seam. Exhale, your right over the top of your right knee. Sweep your left bicep across your ear. Good, as long as you can get through your entire left side seam. As you inhale, ground through your left heel, reach long through your left side. As you exhale, you can slide your right hand down. Inhale your left arm up, maybe take it around behind your back, or take a bind if you wish. Ooh, there it is. And release your bind. Press yourself back into your warrior two, and straighten your right leg. Step your left foot a little bit closer. Find your hips. Inhale, reach out and over your right thigh and release your right hand down and your left arm up. See if you can feel the ground beneath your toes. Press the floor away. Inhale, get as broad and big as you can get. And soften your right knee, maybe look out in front. And softly shift your weight onto your right foot, left leg glides up. Good, take an inhale again, get a little bit bigger, a little bit kind of broader. Then softly bring your left hand down to the ground, square your hips to the mat. Bend the right knee, step the left toes way back. Inhale, rise all the way up into crescent lunge. If you want to take a gentle back bend, really use your back leg, lifting up out of the waist of your spine. And then bring both hands all the way down, step your right foot back. Exhale as you lower elbows in. Inhale to rise. Back to downward facing dog. Give yourself a few good breaths. And every time you inhale, you can imagine a little bit more length and space. As you exhale, letting yourself soften down, finding the ground. And inhale your left leg up and back. Exhale, left foot all the way through. Right heel comes down to the ground. Inhale, rising up into your warrior one. Opening wide into your warrior two. Inhale, the left palm face up. Reach forward, extend up and back. So go 2 times up for every time you go back. I sometimes like to make a fist right at my sacrum and kind of let it press into my back. You might reach around and press the front of your left thigh right forward towards the front, right away from your ribs. You can bring your left elbow to the top of your left knee. Sweep your right bicep across your ear. And you can let your left hand come down, reach your right arm up, and then think of leading with your thumb. So your thumb is going to create the internal rotation for your right shoulder. Your hand comes around behind your back. You can reach and grab for the inside hip crease. If you can easily find your left hand behind you, maybe do that. Then opening up, lifting your ribs as far away from your left thigh as you can. Rooting through your right heel. Then release the bind, left hand down, right arm up. Press back into warrior two. Straighten your left leg, heel toe your right foot in enough that you have kind of good ground underneath your feet, and you can switch sides. So strong legs, inhale, reach forward, and then release left hand down, right arm up. Okay, give yourself an inhale here. And soften your left knee, gaze forward. Shift your weight up onto your left foot. Let your hips open up so you can even take your right hand to your iliac and just lift your pelvis. Inhaling your right arm up, maybe gazing towards the ceiling. Softly bring your right hand all the way down. Soften your left knee, square your hips. Bring the right toes way back behind you. Find your feet. Inhale to rise all the way up. If you want a gentle back bend, again, use your back leg. Lift up out of your low back. And then both hands all the way down. Left foot steps back to meet the right. Exhaling as you lower. Inhaling as you rise. And back to your downward facing dog. Let your inhale lift your sitting bones high. Soften your knees. Gaze forward. Step hop. If you're ready, you can float your feet right up to the top of your mat. Inhale into your half lift. Exhale, fold back in. Okay, separate your feet again about 2 fist distances apart. And just let your hands come back to opposite elbows. By letting the weight of your body out. Give yourself a deep inhale into your back. And as you exhale, bend your knees till they fit right into your armpits, so squatting down. Okay, give yourself a deep inhale into your back. And then exhale, both hands down out in front. And just step your feet right back into a nice plank position. Okay, so from your plank, press back into your downward facing dog. Walk your feet in just a little bit closer than they would normally be in downward facing dog. Take your left hand, press it firmly into the ground like you're going to press the floor away. Take your right hand, reach around for your outer left heel, and try to make it fit just like a ball in a mitt. You can inhale your sitting bones evenly, up and back, press through your left palm. If you wish, you could bend your right knee and see if it'll fit your left armpit, still trying to lift your right sitting bone up and back. You can gaze underneath your left arm. And try switching sides, right hand down. Plug it in, press the floor away, cross it over. Reaching long, you can bend your left knee. Right into your armpit, lifting both sitting bones high. And the left hand back down. So a nice little twist, bring your knees down to the mat. Cross your ankles, swing your legs out in front. Go to the top of your mat and just rock and roll a few times. You're just like a ball, So you're gonna have like a ball on your back. Okay, when you do come all the way to your back, take your right foot down to the ground and cross your left ankle over your right knee. So it's sometimes called a number 4 stretch. You can start to bring your shin towards your collarbones. You can rock it gently side to side. This is a beautiful variation for half pigeon, so if you ever feel like half pigeon is cute in class and you don't feel up to doing it that day, this could be a really nice one. It still works the outer side of the left hip with a piriformis, and you have a lot of control over it because you can decide what angle you take. You can rock it in, rock it out, use the knee to press it away or come back in. and mostly just don't want any knee pain here. Okay, let your right heel come down to the ground. Bring your arms out like cactuses. And see what happens if you just keep your right foot where it is and let your left foot fall over to the side. All right, so it's a little bit of a twist. You can gaze out over your left shoulder. Give yourself a deep inhale in. As you exhale, let your belly button drop towards your spine. And draw yourself all the way back on up. Good, switch out your legs, so left foot down, right heel crosses over. And feel free to use your knee as a lever. Right? If you want to, you can bring your left thigh closer towards you or further away. That'll change the intensity a bunch. And imagine breathing all the way down into your right hip. And ideally, your pelvis and your shoulders are pretty squared up. So if you're not sure, imagine making an X from your right shoulder diagonally to your left hip and your left shoulder diagonally to your right hip. So in your mind's eye, you can kind of check in and see if you are cross-referencing. Right, nice and even. Okay, and let your right foot fall to the side. Try not to move your left foot at all. You can press your knee further away. You can bring our arms up to the side. And let's say you don't feel anything here. Well, that's great, right? Just you're probably really long with your side body. Draw yourself all the way back on up. Right, uncross your ankles, or your ankle from your knee. Draw both knees in, give them a good squeeze. And let your feet start to come over your head. So if you've got a ponytail and you might need to take it out a little bit, I can take your feet up and over the top. And now there are lots of variations here. So happy baby's a great one. By letting your knees come a little bit further over. If you can bring your knees to your ears, right, that's called Karnakadasana, right? And if you want to keep going and end up in a plow, right, you can start to let your shoulders come underneath you a little bit more and your legs start to work their way overhead, but no neck pain, right? So your neck still has a little space between it and the floor. It is absolutely fine for your sternum to come towards your chin. Slowly begin to roll yourself all the way back down. And draw your knees in one more time. And ask yourself if there's any last thing that you'd like to do, right? Something that would just feel really good to you. And if anything like that comes to mind, please take a moment to do that for yourself. And eventually we'll come to come to Shavasana. Right, so no rush there. So as you start to draw yourself into your final Shavasana, start to notice the way that your body makes contact with the ground. See if you can allow yourself to be held. It's been a long couple days for a lot of us. So just the reminder of even the floor, that it has your back, that it's underneath you and it supports you no matter what, can feel really nice. So see if you can really let the floor meet you right where you are. I want to thank all of you so much for practicing, for taking this time for yourself to take good care of yourself. Please continue to take really good care of yourself. Be gentle with yourself. Keep breathing soft and deep and smooth. Give yourself some good breaths. And please take really good care. And now, more than most times, I really hope to see every one of you really soon.